Hello, my name is Alice Boyd Simpson. I'm the child of Isaiah Boyd and Annie Mae Boyd, and I was born the sixth child of 11 children. We have come this far by faith. Oh, we are born in Roxborough, North Carolina. Most of my other siblings were born in other places, like South Carolina or whatever, but I was the first one born in Roxborough, North Carolina. Growing up in Roxborough, North Carolina was it was a busy time. We lived on a farm, and we farmed at various locations. Uh, and my parents raised tobacco, and I had to hand leaves, and I did a little stringing of tobacco and things like that. We at that time we would raise crops like corn, and we had a lot of vegetables grown in the gardens there. Sometimes we actually had lived in two houses because one would be on the farm, and then we would come. We were stabilized there on the farm, and then we would come into town sometimes to our home to live during the weekend, and then it was back to the farm. So growing up was kind of rough, but I look back at it now as being important in shaping my life for me, and it was just growing up in a crowd of family members with a lot of sisters and brothers, and we just sort of looked out for each other, and we just learned to love each other and to share. Uh, and That was pleasant growing up. And I attended the church, it was Shady Hill Baptist Church in Roxborough at that time. My father was the deacon of the church there at Shady Hill Baptist Church. And of course, my mother was a deaconess. And I was baptized there at Shady Hill Baptist Church. And at that time, the baptism pool was outside of the church. And it was, I think it was maybe once a year when they would have baptism at Shady Hill. And I remember being baptized at around, I think, 11, when I was about 11 years old. And it was just pleasant for me because I had noticed the other people in the church, how the elder members had such a good time, it seemed, and I wanted to be baptized. I couldn't wait until I became the age for being baptized. And I just remember that pool. I won't forget that pool where we were dipped down in the water. Of course, now they have a pool inside of the church. I attended the elementary school in Roxborough, and I attended Person County High School, from which I graduated in 1962. And from there, I moved on to attend North Carolina Central University, which at that time was called North Carolina College at Durham. In high school, especially, I grew up I was in the Honor Society, and I played a little basketball, not that much. I wasn't on the basketball team, but I enjoyed going to the various ball games and things of that sort. My parents didn't allow us to go out that much at night. They would have let us attend some games as long as we went out together and we came back home together. And I remember once when I didn't come back. My brother was supposed to be coming back home with me. We were supposed to be coming back together, and we didn't arrive at the same time. And that was the last time that my father let me go to the game that year because we didn't come back as we should have. But lucky it was the next to the last game of the season. I had pretty strict parents, and growing up was interesting, but it was pleasant growing up. I enjoyed being with my family, basically. I was, of course, young around my grandmother and grandfather, the Pearsons. But I remember just running up the street from down, well, to their house, and my grandmother's, those biscuits, I remember that she used to cook, and on a wooden stove, and that she would always have some pot on the back. And any time that I would go there, I could always expect her to give me something good to eat. They were pretty strict as well, and they kept their eyes on us when my parents were away or whatever, especially growing up as teenagers or whatever. They weren't going to let you get too far out of the sight. So, but I just loved my grandmother and my grandfather. And I did, like I said, I did, I was in the honor society, and I sort of like cherished that. And my teachers were very good to me, and they were very inspiring, and that was one of the reasons why I did attend a North Carolina Central College, because I remember Miss Hopper insisted on telling me where I was going to school. And that's the one thing I really, really remember about the school was the excellent teachers that I had. Very encouraging, very inspiring. Mrs. Smith was my biology teacher. Mr. Dickens was my typing teacher. Mr. Coleman was my social studies teacher. There's Miles, there's Tillman, there's Satterfield, there's Clayton, and there are so many, especially for high school. And one of the most inspiring teachers in my elementary school was Mrs. Satterfield. She was encouraging. And I wasn't really that much of a troublemaker, but I did get into a few little altercations in elementary school, but I was inspired to behave before I got to high school, because one of the things I definitely wanted to do was get into the honor society. And I know that at that time they were strict about the honor society. If you had been in a fight or something like that, you may not make the honor society the 11th, at the 10th grade. And I was very determined that I was going to be in the honor society. And one of the things I remember about high school was a speaking contest, World Peace Speaking Contest that I was involved in. And I did win first place at that time. And I did go on a trip all expenses paid trip to New York City for, it was a 3-day trip where we went to New York City. We saw the Music Man at one of the major theaters at that time. And we were able to come back and visit the United Nations building in New York City. And then when we came back through Washington, D.C., we were able to visit the White House and the Capitol and things of that sort. And Mrs. Tillman was the chaperone to go with me on that trip. There were 2 busloads of students, and I was the only one that year to travel from Person County High School, from Roxborough in general. And that was one of my most memorable occasions. I remember my father gave me, I think, $10 for the trip. No, I think it was, yeah, and told me to spend it not to spend it if I didn't have to. And I was able to bring $5 back. but all the other expenses were paid for anyway. So I was good, and Miss Timlin was very generous to me as well. It was just pleasant growing up, and I enjoyed school. But I also had to work hard on the farm as well. I was the first one to attend like a 4-year college at North Carolina Central, but my sister Ida attended business school before. I think she was the first. No, my first sister to attend college was my older sister, Willie Zhu. She went to nursing school. Then Ida, and then me. I was the next one to attend a 4-year college. I think there were 4 others after me who went to Central. So we are mostly Eagles in my family, mostly Eagles. And during my 4 years of college at North Carolina Central, I studied biology. That was my major. And education was my minor at the time. Well, science and education were my minors at that time. And when I graduated from Central, my first teaching job was in Edgecombe County, North Carolina. And it was at Phillips High School in Brattleboro, North Carolina. I spent 4 years there. And after leaving Brattleboro, North Carolina, I spent 31 years in Forest Park High School in Baltimore, Maryland. And that was then I retired from Baltimore. I retired from Forest Park High School in 2001 after serving for 31 years there. I went to Baltimore because I would attend sometimes I would go spend summertime at my sister Ida's house, and I liked Baltimore. And then since I was spending the time there in the summer, I decided I would try to get a job there in Baltimore. But I didn't get the job there in Baltimore when I wanted, and so I took the first job, the last job, that opportunity I had. I was sort of like waiting it out, and I got a job in North Carolina. That was the first teaching experience. Teaching was really not my first choice. I really wanted to go to medical school, and I wanted to be a heart surgeon. That was a desire. But I didn't get that far. But of course, the science classes did allow me to do some other things. I wanted to also, my second choice was the laboratory. And third choice was teaching. And I ended up with the third choice rather than the first choice. And then after I got the job in North Carolina, then I got all other things that opened up to me that I could have, I couldn't take them at the time. But that opened up a lot of doors for me because it allowed me to, when I was at Edgecombe County, when I was in Edgecombe County, I left there to attend various schools on National Science Foundation scholarship that I received for several years. And during that time, I was able to attend summer school on a scholarship at Howard University during the summer. And I received another fellowship to receive education at the University of Maryland College Park. That was one summer. And then I attended further postgraduate courses at Morgan State University, and I had some post studies at Howard, at John Hopkins as well. So I've had a lot of opportunities to grow. I received my master's equivalent, during the time that I was teaching. But I did many studies along the way and had so many different opportunities for paid fellowships and scholars and other things to encourage me along the way. And I enjoyed my teaching years. I started with the Roxborough Union when my husband passed. His name was William Simpson, and we were married for about 5 years. And after his death, someone from Roxborough approached me about being a part of organizing the Roxborough Scholarship reunion. And at that time, there were about maybe 5 of us who gathered together to get the reunion started. And that was in 1990, I think it was 1990 when the reunion was started there in Baltimore, Maryland. We were interested in forming something that would allow us to reunite from year to year with the Roxboroughians, as well as an opportunity to raise scholarships as a way of giving back to our heritage and our roots. That's what we were trying to give back to our roots at that time. And Chatter Cunningham was the president at that time. And later on, as years passed, other members became presidents. And I became the secretary, and I served for probably over 15, 20 years as the secretary of the reunion. And that was a really nice thing because we organized and we would have a lot of fun together as members there. And then year after year, we would prepare to come in Baltimore for the most part for the reunion. Then we stretched out where we were having a reunion in Richmond, Virginia, and then we started having a reunion in North Carolina as well. And this last one that we had for the actually the 31st reunion, where we actually came together, was this year, 2023, when we were in Roxborough, North Carolina. So we've been having a great time together. We've lost many members through death, but other members are coming along. So it seems like the Roxborough Union is still there. And at first we were giving out big scholarships of like $1,000. And I know one year we gave out 13 scholarships of at least $1,000 each. That was our biggest year of scholarships. And although the cost of living has gone up, we are still giving at least $500 scholarships at this time. And maybe sometimes it's 3. And I think we were given 5 in recent years. And then when COVID came along, for a while there we were not meeting, but we were still giving scholarships. So that has been a blessing. In Maryland, I have been a part of the North Carolina Central Alumni Association, and we also provide scholarship money. And I'm a member of the church there, Word of God Church. That I've been a member of Word of God Church since it started out as being Progressive First Baptist Church, but it's now the Word of God Church. Uh, and I've been there for over 30 years. Um, right now, I'm serving as ministry leader of the Word of God uh, Singers Ministry. And we have one member who is 90 years old, and she is actually the Bible study teacher. Um, I enjoy that group. The services at church are wonderful. At this time, we are really searching for a pastor, but we have two great ministers there who preach, take turns preaching Sundays, Sunday after Sunday. We have a grand time, and I just enjoy serving. Enjoy serving the Lord. As a matter of fact, I'm also a member of the prayer call, and we meet every from Monday through Saturday daily at 6 o'clock. We have prayer call, and it lasts to 7 o'clock. And that's a daily thing that I truly enjoy. It's because this is the way we start our day. And one of the things I do enjoy among friends is I play pinochle from time to time, and I call that my mind therapy to keep my brain together because I do like to play pinochle. Now, I learned something about pinochle in college, but for most of the time I didn't even play pinochle until later in life. When I joined we have the senior center, and that's where I met a group of people after I retired that were playing cards, and I noticed that the people there were up in the age, in the 90s, and their minds were very sharp where they could to play the cards, and I thought that that's something I need to do to keep my mind sharp. And as a matter of fact, I started to play, not that frequently, I don't play as frequently now as I used to, but I still play from time to time because many of the people have gone on. But the lady that is my pinochle partner for Friday is 97 years old. So I think that has a lot to do with keeping our minds together. So that's one reason I like to play pinochle. And then I like to bowl. I used to bowl. I don't bowl anymore. But during the time I was bowling, I had a high average of 160 something, and then sometimes I would get games over 200, and I have many trophies that I have gotten rid of a lot of the trophies, and I did keep maybe about 4 of them, but I earned a lot of trophies bowling. So those were the things that I was interested in. My earliest remembrance of the Boyd-McCormick family reunion, I remember my Uncle Nay was the president. I went to the first reunion when it was organized, I think in the early 70s. And we went to Columbia, South Carolina there at my uncle's place. I've always had a good relationship with all my uncles and my aunts. I've lived closely with with my Uncle William, because he's in Baltimore, Maryland. So I was pretty close to him, and when he passed, I had a good relationship with my Aunt Ethel, and she passed in her 90s. But my Aunt Fanny, that was it was always a pleasure to come back and visit my Aunt Fanny, who lived up the street from where we used to live. I was pretty close to them, although I left home early, especially when I left high school, went to college, and I never really returned to Roxborough to live, but it was always a pleasure to come back and visit my Aunt Fanny. And at that time, because they could all cook good food, and one of the things I really remember about my Aunt Fanny's cooking was those pies and cakes. And anytime that I went there to visit her, I knew that I was going to have some goodies, always some goodies at my Aunt Fanny's house. I just always enjoyed my uncles, all my uncles and just my entire family. I look forward to family reunions. I went to Chicago for family reunion, as far as California for another family reunion, and I've been attending the reunions. I think I missed maybe one. I missed two family reunions out of the time that it has existed. So that's one of the things I look forward to every year, is the family reunion. And I remember we did not have the family reunion during the COVID years, but I have thoroughly enjoyed my family at the family reunions. Now, one of the things I like to do at the family reunion is getting together with my cousins, and they don't play pinochle. A couple of them who used to play pinochle, but right now, the game that I did learn to play spades. So at the family reunion, I will get together with I think it's Bobby and sometimes Lawrence or whatever, and we will play spades. And I'm not as sharp at spades as I am with pinochle, but that's one of the things that I like to do at the family reunion is play spades. I hosted the family reunion twice in Maryland, along with my brother, Walter, at that time, and along with that, with my Uncle William. We had the family reunion when they had the family reunion in Maryland. So I hosted it. My brother and I hosted it maybe twice, and my uncle hosted it 2 or 3 times. So we've had the family reunion in Maryland several times. And it was always a big event. It's work. Hosting a family reunion is work, but it's at the end it's enjoyable, and it's important. And although it involves quite a bit of work, it's always enjoyable just to have the family together. I love family, and I just love helping to prepare for family reunions to make sure that they go well.